Frankston's greatest assets are its unique, world-class natural assets. Since 2002, all of the city of Frankston has been included in a designated biosphere, officially recognized by UNESCO for preservation and sustainable development. Sustainable development has economic, environmental, social and cultural dimensions. Kananook Creek Corridor, which extends from the Mornington Freeway for 10 kilometers to Frankston's town center and the beachfront, is one of Frankston's most important, unique, world-class natural assets. For 130 years, Frankston has been working to restoring the Kananook Creek Corridor. Since 1970, Kananook Creek Association has led community efforts in the complex restoration, covering all of the economic, environmental, social and cultural dimensions of the Kananook Creek Corridor. Physically, the Kananook Creek Corridor encompasses 4 components. The waterway, the public spaces through which it flows in the town centers at Seaford and Frankston. Adjoining natural reserves, private properties with creek frontages. Success is dependent on the critical, 5th key component, being coordinated management and support by the responsible authorities. This episode focuses on one physical component, the restoration and sustainable preservation of the floristically significant, world-class natural reserves of the Kananook Creek Corridor.
I've been in this area for about 30 years. You know, I feel fairly selfish because the rewards for me are significant. It's a great feeling to be this close to nature, you know, to have the bird song at this time. It's just completely from my heart. I don't have to be here. I'm here as a volunteer. And I would think once a week it's not unreasonable to put in a couple of hours work with Minio and the others that have got this established, and they sure need, you know, extra help. So I'm pleased to be able to do it. Others benefit from what we're doing, but the greatest joy is my reward, just being involved.
All these plants today have come from the council nursery. And the council had followed the system that was set up 23 years ago, where They have a program of identifying what's needed to build up the diversity. The plants that we know that were here that have been lost for various reasons, like casuarinas were cut out because they're fantastic for fire kilns. So they were used in kilns all around Melbourne. So they came down here and just took the casuarinas out. So we're restoring those. So you work out what plants you need to propagate. Then they go out and work out how to do that. Some plants are from seeds, some plants are from cuttings, and some are really difficult. You know, they have to go through other processes like burn to get them to strike. So there's a whole range of techniques they use to get the plants to strike, and that maybe a year or so later they're looked after by nursery volunteers. Various groups then are responsible for taking the plants and putting them in appropriate places. So yeah, that's what we're doing, and that takes the winter. Now luckily we've had good rains through autumn, and this is wonderful planting conditions. We're making sure the seeds that we collect are from plants that are right here. So, you know, casuarinas, we collect the seeds from the casuarinas that remained. There's one casuarina that's down near the power station that has pretty much been the mother and the father of most of the casuarina, so that was one that didn't get burnt out. It's important that you know, there's integrity around that process, that they are genuinely collected from locally occurring plants, and they're not from a sort of a hybrid that was grown in up at Rockhampton or somewhere like that. So of course Banksias have got many types of Banksias, but the ones that are here, this is considered by the flora of Melbourne and to be one of the best coastal Banksia heathlands. So these are quite special right here. Well, one of the critical things about the Kananook Creek corridor, the natural corridor, is that we have the canopy cover. If you're in a hot day and you're walking, you want canopy cover. But the wonderful thing about canopy cover is it also restricts the weeds. There are absolutely no weeds under these tea tree over here. But it's also, you know, just a wonderful, unique experience to walk through something like this. Totally unique.
You know, I heard about this fire down at Seaford, and I thought, oh, what's that? And it was, you know, devastating. It's right through here, and poor guy Alan Sisson, who lives across the creek from here, he'd done a lot for this reserve here, and had to more or less start again. Yeah, I've been living around here, so on the creek, since 1976. Married to Meredith, who used to be the president. She's still involved with the creek, and her father was one of the original people that started it, the Kananook Creek Association up all those years ago. So we're just carrying on the work. Yeah. I think the fire was in 1988, November 1988. Well, Alan had, I think, just retired from Telstra, and he had an interest. He was involved in KCA, and had an interest in natural reserves, and I think he was a friend of Parks Victoria, you know, the people that look after national parks. And he also had a great interest in the foreshore. But when this fire happened, you know, you needed someone to step up, and here we had someone in our midst that was able to step up. He then, after a career with Telstra, did a degree at Burnley in horticulture, so he knew exactly what he was doing. And at that time, way before any rangers or environment department or anything at council, you know, we started this restoration. So it's still going, but it's going to be forever, because looking after natural reserves, you've got to keep the diversity up, and you've got to weed them every year. So if you don't weed them, they go right back to where we were 22 years ago, 23 years ago.